What's going on, world? It's your boy Will Lyons. You know me from the den. I'm here with my guy, JP, John Polk, and we are bringing to you Generations of the Game podcast. JP, introduce yourself to the people, brother.
What's up? What's up, y'all? This is JP. Our first actual recording together. Me and Will. We have a third member, Coach Rod, who will be unable to join us this evening as he's preparing his high school basketball season. Hope to have a great podcast for you. So let's begin. So the first topic we're going to talk about today, will be, I guess, Kentucky basketball, DJ Wagner, and how they're doing so far this year. So far, how do you think the season's going for Kentucky this year, brother?
Man, I would say, to not have any of our three big men play, I think it's going great, man. We got one loss to Kansas, and, the team is like really hitting a nice stride.
Yes, I would say so as well. I think come February, March, they're definitely going to be a dangerous team. I like the way this team plays. And as I told you the other day, I texted you the other day, and I told you that I felt as though that this Kentucky team may be the most talented team that Coach Cal has had since the 2015 team when he had Karl Anthony Towns and Devin Booker and the likes of that team.
I mean, I know some people may think just because of the names on that team that's kind of far fetched, but I have to agree with you. It's a really well built roster. You have size, athleticism. You got more shooting than Cal's had in years. And it's just a nice blend. And also, like outside of the, you know, measurables and statistics, you have a group of guys that just want to win. They'll run through a wall to get that victory.
Right, and they were all like the group of freshmen that they have in there now. They were all winners in high school, definitely. I mean, they played for some great high school teams. So let's talk about DJ Wagner. How so far his season is going. I think so far he's played phenomenal, especially with him learning a new position from basically playing the two guard, basically in high school. Although he did play the point somewhat in high school, we had a great point guard that he played with, Sion Medley, when he was at Camden. But how good do you think DJ's played so far this year?
So I would say DJ's been decent, man. Like, if I had to give it a grade, I would give it a B. I think overall for what the position asks of him, he's been performing. But I think the casuals are looking at it, looking for him to have big scoring numbers every night, and that's just not what Kentucky necessarily is asking him to do. He's blending into the team well. He's not forcing it overall, and he's letting the game come to him. And even from a scoring perspective, you see he started to heat up, except for the last game when he tweaked that ankle.
Right, right. And hey, I think he's having a phenomenal year so far. Especially you see that the development and improvement as he goes on. Now we've seen him play in high school, Will, and we know the type of player he is, and we know he's a big game, big time player.
Absolutely. When it's winning time, give him the ball, get out the way. And I think that's something that of course follows him, in the highlight era, and people are waiting to see it. But, I referenced last season, for Camden High, DJ, he had a patch, in the season where he wasn't putting up his usual scoring numbers, and they moved him off the ball, and let Medley take the reins fully as the point guard, and DJ, really flourished from that point on because the defense can't load up on him the same way.
Right, right. I see his game. He reminds me somewhat of Tyrese Maxey. I think he has a very, very bright future in front of him. The jumper is there, and once that is very, very consistent, it's going to be lights out. You're not going to be able to stop him because he has great fundamentals of the game. He could do it all. He could pass, even for a guard. He could rebound for a guard. He has length, and we got to remember he's only still 18 years old. He's very young, very young. So I'm looking forward to him. He's beyond Kentucky. He has a bright future. Definitely going to be a top 10 pick, I feel, over the draft. I think Kentucky really has about maybe 6 or 7, I say, NBA prospects easily on this team. And one of the best ones hasn't even played yet, Aaron Bradshaw, and when he brings the shot blocking and rebounding, and he has a really pretty good jump shot, 12 to 15 feet. He's still developing. How do you think he will play with Kentucky this year?
I think he'll be a great fit, man. Like you said, offensively, he's pretty consistent in the mid range. Can even hit a three, here and there. But I think what he'll bring, as a lob threat, just at 7 feet, and on the defensive side, rebounding and blocking shots is gonna, give this team another gear that they can reach. Especially, as a 7 footer that can run the way he can, he's gonna fit right in with Dillingham, Shepard, and DJ pushing the pace.
Let's talk about the other three freshmen they have: Robert Dillingham, Reed Shepard, and also the kid from Philly, Justin Edwards. I feel as though they're phenomenal ball players. That they're all filling their way in to Cal's system. Mm-hmm. Also, I feel as though this was one of the best recruiting classes we've seen in a couple of years. What do you feel about that?
I think overall, like it's a really talented recruiting class, and I think that one thing that we have to remember is that DJ and Edwards, they have different expectations. DJ has a potential to be a third generation, NBA draft pick. After being a third generation McDonald's All-American, it's never happened before. Edwards, on some mock drafts, he was projected, potential number one or, no lower than 5, before the season. These guys, they've been the man everywhere that they've been, but, we know that, especially in college, that's the brightest lights, to that point in your life. And especially at Kentucky, man, there's more eyes on you at Kentucky sometimes than there are with some of these pro franchises.
Right. I agree. And let me tell you something, man. When it comes to developing players, nobody in college basketball, maybe Duke, but Duke and Kentucky, I feel as though are the two programs that really develop you and get you ready for the pro game.
Yeah, I agree. The only other one I would say that I think is right up there, they don't always get the recruits on the same level, but the development is Tom Izzo of Michigan State.
Yes, he does. Like you said, he doesn't get the big time recruits, but yes, Tom Izzo definitely does. Has some very good players come out of Michigan State. Also, I guess another topic we want to talk about this evening, Will, is women's college basketball. As at the time of this recording, there was a great game played today between North Carolina and South Carolina, where South Carolina pulled it out by 7 points at the end of the game.
Now, South Carolina, I'll be honest, man, like they've been phenomenal. I feel like they've exceeded even the expectations that I have for them. I knew they'd be good, but they've been running pretty much everybody out the gym. I have to give credit to North Carolina. They played them tough, really, aggressive on the boards. And Deja Kelly really, had a great game against arguably the top defense in the nation. But credit to Coach Staley and those players, man. They got punched in the mouth, and they held their own, and they came back and they got that W.
Excuse me. Excuse me again. A game like this will definitely make South Carolina better as the season goes on. They have a very young team. Dawn Staley is, as far as I'm concerned, she might actually be the best coach in college basketball. Period. Men or women. Period.
No, she's up there, man. She's phenomenal all around, X's and O's, player development, and just, what it means to be a coach, a leader of men or women.
Right. I definitely agree. Also, Will, let's talk about some of the super freshmen we've seen so far this year in women's college basketball.
Man, this class is crazy. I feel like we got to start with, the number one high school recruit, Juju Watkins. She's been living beyond the expectation. I mean, she's already got, 4 30-point games? Juju is better than advertised.
Her game kind of reminds me a lot of Candace Parker. She's not as tall as Candace Parker, but skill-wise, she does remind me of Candace Parker. And I'm going on record to say. They've had some great, great players at USC. When you talk about Cynthia Cooper and or Lisa Leslie, Tina Thompson, but I'm going to say she might be the best player they've had at USC since Cheryl Miller.
And that's high praise, as we know, man.
That's about as high praise as you can get.
Right. The best player at college is probably ever seen is Cheryl Miller. You know. No, I agree. And I know you said Candace. I actually see a little more Maya Moore, but still greatness
Yes. Yes. Who are some of the other top freshmen that we've seen in women's college basketball this year?
Well, we got to go to Jersey next, man. Hannah Hidalgo, South Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
She has been
Yes.
torching everybody, at playing for Notre Dame. She's actually, scoring, I think, like 23 a game, like 5 assists, 5 boards a game. But the most impressive thing to me is her defense. She's averaging actually 6 steals a game.
That's phenomenal.
Yep.
That's phenomenal for any type of level of college basketball. 6 steals, any level of basketball. That is very phenomenal. I tell you, getting back to just high school basketball in South Jersey last year, last year will maybe the best basketball we've seen as far as talent wise in South Jersey history. And we've had some great players and great teams and great eras. But last year we had 4 McDonald's All-Americans come out. You had DJ Wagner, Aaron Bradshaw from Camden, the kid Jackson from Kansas. He's from South Jersey, although he went to prep school. I forget which prep school he went to. And you had Heidel, who also she was the McDonald's All-American game as well from Paul VI. So last year we had it was a hell of a year last year, man, for high school hoops in South Jersey.
Absolutely. And we actually had another All-American on the women's side, Zoe Brooks. She's at NC State right now doing her thing.
Wow. And which high school?
I want to say might have been Plainfield or something like that. I got to double check.
Oh, she's from up north. So she's the other one that we've had as well. Wow, man. That's a lot of talent to come out of. With New Jersey, let me tell you something. New Jersey high school basketball, whether you talk about the talent that comes out of New Jersey is incredible, whether you talk about women's or men.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And before we move on, JP, from talking about the stellar freshman class, I just got one more. Talia Scott, man, she's playing for the Arkansas Razorbacks. She's McDonald's All-American as well, but she's actually a true freshman, averaging 23 a game, leading her program in scoring right now in a tough SEC.
Yes. SEC men and women's. Man, tough league to play in. As we go on to our next topic, Will, we're going to talk about the NBA. So this play-in tournament that we have, who do you see winning this play-in tournament that they have for the NBA? I guess they're going to declare a champion on December 9th. Who do you see coming out on top in this midseason tournament?
The play-in tournament, man. First, I gotta say that I like what it's done. It's kind of given some new life to this point in the season when a lot of players are sitting out. But I think I gotta roll with. Pardon me. I gotta roll with a dark horse, man. I'm going with. I think Phoenix might be able to do it, man. I just think their shot making. Game slows down, man. It's tough, and they got overall, a roster where everybody contributes. But when the bright lights are on, they got 2 guys that'll take and make that shot.
Yeah, you have two maybe the top 10, definitely 2 of the top 10, 15 players in there. But one's definitely top 5, Kevin Durant. Another one, Booker's definitely top 10, maybe even top 5 himself.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, when you have, and remember, Bradley Beal, he's dealing with a back injury. He really hasn't played that much. So once they get together as a unit, they're going to be very good. They're going to be very tough to beat.
Yep,
Oh, go ahead, Will. What were you saying?
I was just saying it's true. You can't double anybody.
No, you can't. You can't. When they get rolling, they're going to be a tough team to beat. I'm gonna tell you a team that I feel as though might be a sleeper in this tourney. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I do like the talent. That's the Indiana Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrese Halliburton, man, what can you say?
I
Great
mean,
point guard.
Halliburton, man, he's doing something that we haven't seen at this level as far as blending the scoring and assist numbers like this. I would say the last one was Russ, but I'll go beyond that as far as like true PG, natural PG play, and that's Nash, man.
Nash, I'm gonna go one further. Tiny Archibald, he led the league in assists and scoring back in 1973 when he averaged 34 and 10. I mean, you know that this kid Tyrese Halliburton is special, man. He really is. Miles Turner has also been playing well for them. He's a very good player. Buddy Hield coming off the bench gives them scoring and stuff, and they had a lot of other role players on this team. They have a very good team. Another team I'm going to say to watch out for as well is the Sacramento Kings.
Absolutely.
They are another team that I really like as well. De'Aaron Fox, amazing player. Sabonis, um, the kid Murray they have on the wing. They have a very, very, very good team to watch out for as well.
I agree. The Kings have a well-built team with, one player that is a star in Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, making his name honestly as a superstar at this point. He can score, he can create, and they have a really well-built roster. You're right, man. Keegan Murray, better than I think a lot of people thought he'd be this early. And you can't count out Malik Monk either. He can get hot at any time.
Now, Malik Monk is definitely one of the top two or three, maybe the best six man in the league.
Mm-hmm.
His scored is phenomenal. And remember, him and De'Aaron Fox were the backcourt at the University of Kentucky back in several years ago.
Oh yeah, I can't forget that, man.
Yeah, yeah, that was a hell of a backcourt, man. That was a very good team they had too with Bam Alabado, and man, that was a great team they had. Miami Heat has been playing well this year, I would say as well. They coming along. Spoelstra, in my opinion, is probably the best coach in basketball. Let's talk about the rookies. That this rookie class that's come up in the NBA. A lot of people say it could be historically great. Let's talk about. I guess we start with the two players at the top: Chet Holmgren and, of course, Victor Wembanyama.
All right, man. So, Chet, he's kind of got an asterisk by his name, since he got hurt and didn't play last season. But I tell you what, man, that year of, strength training and watching film really, done him a world of good, man. I worried about Chet, that slender frame, but he's got some strength and he fights, man, and he's shown that he can score from out to the three, put it on the floor, pass, and the defense and rebounding is right there with the best in the league, man. It's scary that this is year one for him. I think of course everybody is trying to see what Wemby can do, but Chet is right there.
Yeah, Chet Holmgren, man, he's a player to take you inside, outside, has legitimate 3-point range, got a nice handle for a big man. He's going to be a special player for years to come. That OKC team is that's going to be a nice team, man, and it really built it around him and Gildress Alexander, man, who's a special player. That tandem's going to be around for a minute.
Absolutely, man. They need to do whatever they can do to keep them together.
Yes. Also, I guess we got to talk about the generational talent as well that people talk about. Victor Wembanyama, in my opinion, has had a great so far first year. He's only going to get better. He's only going to get better. I think he could be definitely the face of the league when he's 23 years old. A lot of people were saying, oh, this, that, and the third about him, but he's giving you basically 20 points a night, almost 10 rebounds, about 3 to 4 block shots a night. And I've gone on record as to say he might be the best shot blocker I've seen in my lifetime.
I
And I've
mean,
seen a lot, Will. I've seen a lot. I remember Patrick Ewing when I was younger. I remember Hakeem Olajuwon, Ralph Sampson, those Shaq, those guys. But I think this kid with his length, his size, his movement, I really do believe that Victor Wembanyama might be the best shot blocker I've seen. And we got to throw Anthony Davis in there too. He's legitimately one of the best ever too. But this kid, he's his shot blocking is on another level. You already see the impact that defensively he has made in the NBA.
no, I have to agree with you, man. And that's what's gonna make this show special. The generations of the game. You know what I mean? Like you've seen, years of it. You know what I mean? Like I've seen, years of it. Obviously not,
Mm-hmm.
but I agree. Victor to be, dropped into the league and be averaging almost 20, 10, and like 3 blocks, while he's still figuring it out is amazing. Just simply put,
Yeah.
the efficiency is going to improve on its own. If you look at him play, a lot of the times he's playing sped up, but when he takes his time and is able to process, the reads that he can make with what the defense is giving him, um, he really can do some special things, man. Hezzy's, between the legs, behind the back, at that height, and it's not forced, it's natural. That's his game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, God willing, he stays healthy. I definitely think, you know, he'll be a special player to watch. And I think, as far as like you said with the blocks, he might be able to rewrite the record books.
Right. And now let's be clear also as far as the record books go with block shots. The real records really belong to Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, Mr. Bill Russell. May they both rest in peace. I mean, it's been written, it's been documented. They blocked in their prime between 10 to 12 block shots a game. So they probably were the two best. But this kid right here, though, he's up there with the best already that we've seen. And I'm not going to say he's going to be that level yet. People have been saying for years, we've seen Shaq, great career, one of the best big men ever. We see Olajuwon. But you never hear anybody say about Wilt and Kareem. Not saying Victor Wembanyama is going to be that, but with the skill set that we've seen, the ball handling, the shooting, different eras too. Let's understand that, different eras. This kid is something we've never seen before at that size.
No, I agree. When you think about it, as far as eras of the game, you go way back, you have Wilt, then, the modern era, you have Shaq. When you point to, and David Robinson, I'll say as well, when you point to
Right.
guys that truly were, athletic specimens at that position, and now it looks a little different, but we have Wemby as well.
Right. Because one thing, Will, I used to get caught up in this too at one time. I've learned to appreciate players in the eras that they played in. I don't get into this GOAT conversation no more. Who's the GOAT? Who's this, that, the third? If you talk about who has the records and the most dominant player ever, it's Wilt Chamberlain. If you talk about who has the most rings, it's Bill Russell. But I don't get involved with this who's the best player ever, who's this, that, because I mean it's been so many great players. But in our lifetime, we got a chance to see everybody. In my lifetime, I got the chance to see everybody from Kareem when he was older, of course, to up to LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
You got a chance to see Michael Jordan to LeBron James.
Yep.
So, I appreciate every player that we've seen so far in their eras. Because every player has their own style of playing and their own unique way of playing. But if you have I would say we have a first tier table, definitely those players that we name will be on the first tier.
Absolutely. And I have to agree with you. The GOAT thing is tired, and it's
It's
that deep.
about hey Will, it's as tired as Nas and Jay-Z. When people used to have the debate, Nas and Jay-Z, who was a better lyricist stuff, when we should appreciate them both
Yep.
for being two of the all-time greats who have picked up the microphone of all time in hip-hop history.
Absolutely. Greatness inspires the next generation, and we should appreciate all of them for that.
That's right. Whether you talk about the 60s, the 50s, the 60s, even George Mikey, the first big man ever really in the NBA. When you talk about George Mikey, to the Wilts, to the Kareems, to the Shaqs, to the Olajuwons, to the Ewings, to what we see now, Joel Embiid,
Yep.
Jokic, to what we see now, we should always appreciate what we see because once greatness is gone, you're gonna really miss it.
Absolutely, man. I'm just glad, we get to witness it, brother, and, hop on these podcasts, and talk about it together.
Yes, yes, indeed, yes, indeed. Um, so I guess our final topic of the well, we have two more topics for the people out there, and for those who are listening to this podcast, looking at it, we thank you very much for looking at this. Once we release this, um, I guess the next topic will be college football. Now, Will, I'm feeling pretty good right now. My Michigan Wolverines took care of business on Saturday.
They did, man, and I gotta be real, man. There had been some seasons where I kind of wondered if Harbaugh would be sticking around, but he found his groove, man, and those Wolverines are playing, man, big time.
Yes, they are playing. And also hat tip as well to the Ohio State Buckeyes because let me tell you something, man. That Marvin Harrison Jr. is one of the best college football receivers we have ever seen. You cannot guard him one on one. One on one, you can forget about it. It's hard to even him. It's hard to even guard him with double team.
Mm-hmm.
He is something special. And on the next level, I really do believe he's a generational. We people throw around that title generational talent a lot, but this kid right here has it all. He has the size. He's 6'4", about 220. The speed, the hands, the agility. He's just a complete receiver.
I agree, and it's crazy to think about because his father was a hell of a player, and
Hall of Famer.
he is a little taller, a little bigger, a little faster, So you take Hall of Fame genetics and production, and you give it more explosiveness. Man, he's gonna be a nightmare, even at the next level.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And also, Michigan. Let's talk about them. J.J. McCarthy, very, very, very solid quarterback. I think he's definitely going to be a first round pick if he comes out late, probably late first round. But I really like the arm talent he has, the movement he has. I think he could be a very, very good quarterback on the next level as he continues to develop. The running back, Blake Corum, underrated. One of the best running backs in Michigan history, if not the best. I said it, if they've had some great running backs, if not the best, with what he's done in his 4-year career.
Absolutely. So, Michigan, you guys are taking on Washington, if I'm not mistaken. Now that is, yeah.
Well, you have the conference games coming up this week, conference championship games when Michigan plays Iowa.
Yeah, I'm already penciling y'all in there, man. It can happen, but I don't think Iowa has enough.
Yeah, I agree. And Iowa has a solid team. Their defense is lights out, out deep. But they've had some injuries on the offense. McNamara, who's a quarterback at Michigan, he tore his ACL. I believe their tight end, who's one of the best tight ends in the country, he tore his ACL. So they've been handicapped, but they have a solid program and a solid team. You mentioned Washington. Washington has a tough game tomorrow night, Will, against the rematch against the Oregon Ducks.
That's going to be some special stuff, man. The first one was box office. Bo
Box
Nix
office.
versus Michael Penix. Man.
Yes, against Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a great quarterback for Washington. Washington also has some great receivers as well.
They do. They do.
They
They
have
got
some great receivers.
legit NFL caliber players, man, on that roster.
Yes. But we have to say As much as we talk about these teams, as the great Ric Flair said, in order for you to be the man, you got to beat the man. And the
Mhm.
man for the last going on 3 years now has been the University of Georgia.
Absolutely, man. When you look at what they've done and the talent that they've lost to the NFL, the fact that they're, looking at a potential three-peat is phenomenal. And when you talk about, players that um, exemplify their position, their tight end, man, like that team top to bottom is tough, man. But that tight end they got is special, man.
Yes, oh yeah, Bowers is definitely special. They just reload. I mean, look at the players they lost off their defense last year.
Hmm.
Jalen Carter, starting with him. Most of the secondary is going, but they just keep replugging the players in. It's like a well-oiled machine. Kirby Smart has done a hell of a job down there, man. Down at the University of Georgia, he
Absolutely.
really he really has. And then we have the other one, Florida State, who's one of the favorites, plays Louisville. Florida State's quarterback Travis went down with an injury. He's a very, very good quarterback. They might have a little bit of problems there, so we'll see with them. Washington and Oregon, I can't pick that one, man, because based off what we saw last time, and Oregon's going to be chopping at the bits to get at them.
So
Um,
as much as I like Washington's quarterback, I think Oregon might have their number just from the playmakers they have on the defensive side of the ball.
yeah, I agree. I agree. And also, Will, we wanted to talk about the defensive backs coach at the University of Georgia, by the way of South Jersey, Camden High School product, Fran Brown, the new coach of the University of Syracuse.
Yes, sir. I would say first of all, congrats to Coach Brown. That's big. For South Jersey, for Camden, um, and I think that it's a home run hire because of the simple fact that being from South Jersey, being as connected as he is, coaching at Georgia, he'll be able to recruit in the South and have success, but also be able to recruit out of the tri-state area, which has a ton of talent.
I agree. I agree, especially South Jersey. South Jersey's talent is underrated every year as far as the football goes. Because look, everybody talks about Florida, everybody talks about Georgia, everybody talks about Texas, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Those probably considered top five. But Jersey's up there, but particularly South Jersey. We've had two Heisman Trophy winners come out of South Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Rozier, Woodrow Wilson, and Rod Day from Overbrook. We've had Hall of Fame players come out of South Jersey. And that, if I'm not mistaken, South Jersey's had maybe almost 300 players that have played in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So the talent level in South Jersey is very good. And we've had very good teams and players for decades.
Absolutely. And I mean, we got guys in the league right now performing at the highest level. Jonathan Taylor is probably the
Mm-hmm.
most prominent name right now. You got, Cesar Ruiz from Camden, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Brad Hawkins also from Camden, making a name for himself. I mean, you're right, man. Every year, New Jersey puts ballers out there. I think the thing that keeps us out of the national conversation is a lot of our players don't stay home. They go to, some of the prep programs for more exposure and things like that, which I can't blame them for. But,
Mm-hmm.
when people look at where you play, a lot of times they just assume that may be where you're from.
Right, right. Exactly, man. Once again, man, shout out to Coach Brown, for getting this job at Syracuse. But Syracuse is has a tradition, has a great tradition. The great Jim Brown has come out of there.
Yep,
Marvin Harrison, Donovan McNabb,
yep.
Dwight Freeney. They've had some who I can't forget the Heisman Trophy winner after Jim Brown. He died. He didn't get a chance to play the NFL. Ernie Davis, I believe his name. His
Yep.
name was Ernie Davis. Another great player that's come out of there. They've had some great players and great talent to come out of the University of Syracuse. This is not some run of the mill program that's just coming up. The great Art Monk has come out of Syracuse. So they've had Heisman Trophy winners, some of the greatest players that we've ever seen. And according to some people, Jim Brown's arguably the greatest, maybe NFL football player, not only running back, but football player of all time. So he's going to a program with a lot of tradition. He is going to do a hell of a job, I believe, in Syracuse. As you said, he will put a stranglehold definitely on South Jersey, I feel. And he has the connections down south as well to pluck some of the players out of the great states of Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina. So happy he got this opportunity. Another brother, young black man. I think he's like 40 years old, getting this opportunity to really shine. And he's really going to do a great job, I believe, at the University of Syracuse.
I agree with you 100%, brother. Coach Fran Brown is about to restore that feeling in Syracuse.
Yes, he is. I really believe so as well. And our final topic of the night, I guess we got to start off with the brawl for it all this week. And on Sunday at 4:30, must-see TV, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the San Francisco 49ers. My brother lives out in California. Shout out to my brother Mike. He lives out in California. He lives in the Bay Area. He told me that's all they're talking about on sports radio in the Bay Area is this Eagles San Francisco game. The fans of the 49ers, the players of the 49ers, they want the Eagles bad in Philly because they can't forget what happened last year in the playoffs.
Absolutely. A grudge match is always, must see TV, and these are, you might as well argue the two best teams in the league right now. You know, Phenomenal and versatile offenses on both sides, and playmakers on the defensive side as well. I think it comes down to I think it's Philly's game to lose, and I only say that because I think you'll agree. We have yet to see the Eagles play a complete game this season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They've been able to have a little luck and a lot of late game production. That's led to some big wins. Like we just saw against Buffalo. And I think if they come, to play for all four, they can really, make it tough on, the 49ers. I still think it'll be a close game, but I think, if they come and only play the second half, I don't know, man, with the 49ers, with that taste of revenge, that they're looking for, it's going to be rough to, have another phenomenal comeback.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's going to be a great game. Who do I say is going to win this game? I don't know. It could go either way. But all I'm going to say is this. Never bet against Jalen Hurts or the Philadelphia Eagles. They refuse to lose.
I agree. And one thing I have to credit with Hurts, man, like we know he is a seriously, gifted quarterback, but he's not even playing at 100% health. And the plays that he's making, this is the stuff that, some people can't even do on Madden.
Man, look, let me tell you something. Jalen Hurts never gets rattled. When you look at him on the sideline, it doesn't care. He could be down by 20 points. He has the confidence to say, I'm bringing this back for us to win this game.
Absolutely.
I really do believe that this game is going to come down to the Eagles front seven getting pressure. If they get the pressure the way they did last year in the playoffs, it could be a long day for the San Francisco 49ers. But I do expect them to have a good game. Both teams are healthy. Let's just see what happens. Let's get it on and may the best team win, man. Just get ready for a hell of a game. And as T.O. said, get your popcorn ready because it's going to be prime time for sure.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Can't wait to see the outcome, man. You got stars on both sides, and I know they're going to come to play.
Yes. Yes, indeed, indeed. And that basically brings us to the end of our first episode of Generations of the Game. But
Yeah.
Will, before we go, as always, on behalf of you, me, Coach Rod, who was the third member of the team, wasn't able to join us this evening, we got to give a special, 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 special shout out to why we do this podcast. First off, I have to give everything. The reason why I did this is for my father. My father passed away back in July, and I had to do something. And this is like therapy for me to do a podcast like this and to do a sports podcast on his behalf. My father's name was John Polk, the same as mine, and I miss my dad every day. And then we have to also talk about Will, our brother, Sammy J, who really brought us together for us to do this podcast, who passed away on August 29th of this year. Great brother, just got his doctorate degree at the age of 31 years old. So we definitely dedicate the show, our episodes forever to these two brilliant individuals. Will, did you want to speak on it?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. First and foremost, definitely want to, honor, the legacy and the man. I wasn't blessed enough to meet him, but, your father, seeing the brother that you are, I know, he was a phenomenal man himself, and Sammy, like you said, man, a brother in every sense, man, larger than life person, brilliant, loved the Eagles and all his other teams, and like you said, man, he was the connector, man. He brought us together, and we're going to continue to do our thing in honor of both of those great men.
That's right. We're not going to stop, man. We have to fulfill this legacy, man. And I know they're both looking over us, man. With what we're doing, and we hope we made them proud, and we also hope that we've made you proud by bringing you this first um, podcast, the first one that we have, the Generations of the Game podcast. On behalf of Will Lyons, me, JP, we say peace. Have a great weekend. Everybody be safe out there.
Yes, sir. Peace.